All right, Gophers fans, we are covering that topic you always like to know, the predictions, and it's the biggest game of the season, North Carolina versus the Gophers' first-ranked opponents. We're diving into it all with Tristyn Spann-Ford. Be sure to check it out.
Hey,
You are Locked On Golden Gophers.
No matter what we're going to do here, we're just going to keep rowing.
Your daily podcast on the Minnesota Golden Gophers.
However it turns out, we're just going to keep rowing.
Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
We're just going to keep rowing, and keep rowing.
What's up, Gopher fans? You are listening to Locked On Golden Gophers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. My name's Kane Robb, host of the podcast, former collegiate football video coordinator and recruiting assistant, here to talk Golden Gophers with you. And we are joined by our weekly co-host, Tristyn Spann-Ford. We've got all the technology issues out of here, and we're rolling, we're running, we're grinding. So are you excited for this matchup, Tristyn?
I can't remember the last time I have been as excited for a matchup as I am this week. Ranked opponent, ACC opponent. This is where we really get to show who we are as a football team. I'm super excited.
Yes, sir. I'm right there with you. And before we jump into it all, today's show is brought to you by LinkedIn. Every day, new hires can feel like a potential high-stakes wager for your small business, and LinkedIn Jobs is helping you find the right people for your team faster at linkedin.com/lockedoncollege. But let's jump in. Let's recap a little bit before we move right to North Carolina. We got to talk about the Eastern Michigan game. The one thing, we're just going to cover one small thing from that game. Because, dog, I need your thoughts on the defense. They held this team to 4 yards in the second half. 4 total yards in the second half. That's insane. I don't care if you're playing P5, G5, FCS, JUCO. 4 yards is baffling. How are you feeling about this Joe Rossi defense?
It was incredible. First of all, I watched the game from my phone at a bar in New Orleans. Like, I'm literally couldn't keep my eyes off of it because I had to watch every second still. It was phenomenal. They are the real deal, Holyfield. Like, these guys, they're dogs. They really are. And like you said, it doesn't matter Power 5, G5. It doesn't matter what team you are, but 4 yards and a half is crazy.
Crazy. Awesome. 0 first downs. Didn't get a single first down, but yet all of a sudden I've got North Carolina fans jumping in the comments this week saying, slow your roll because they're only 3rd in the nation because you haven't played anyone. Okay, hold up. 3rd in the nation in pass defense, but we've been top 15 in the nation in pass defense for the past, not 1, not 2 years now, back to back. So we're going on year 3. Like, give a little bit of credit. I've been out here giving nothing but respect for North Carolina and the team that they have all week. And some of these fans, man, they want to act like Minnesota is nothing. But if you look at the last 3 full seasons of football, you can't call the COVID year because ACC got to play the full year, Big Ten didn't. But if you look at the last 3, Minnesota has 29 wins, I believe, and UNC has 22. So let's not act like Minnesota hasn't been doing things these last few years. And North Carolina has had an NFL-level quarterback in Howell and Drake Maye. So let's show a little bit of respect, a little bit of love to this defense because Joe Rossi got them boys right.
I agree 100%.
All right, let's dive into some of these questions. First off, Tristyn, I need to know, what is your biggest worry for this matchup heading into the week?
Biggest worry has to be young quarterback, youth in our quarterback.
He's basically a rookie.
And that, but I mean, and it's not a worry as, it's the same thing. Like, I know, mistakes are going to happen these are just kids. They're all kids. The mistakes are going to happen no matter where on the field. But in a ranked opponent, big game, this is where your quarterback steps up. These are the games that kind of start your legacy as a quarterback. So I don't know if I could even call it a worry necessarily, but a nervous excitement for Ethan in the big show, ACC start. That's what it would be. What's he going to do? How's he going to react to things? Stuff like that.
No, I get that. And mine goes even further than that because I'm with you. You want to see how he handles things, but the coaches have to let him handle things. My biggest worry is the inexperience at the offensive play caller because right now we saw ground and pound. Didn't get to see anything last game. We knew that. We both called that last week. But I need to see it happen in this matchup. I need to see the creativity. I need to see the ball spread around. I need to see you let your quarterback be a quarterback. Let him use his talent, because we've seen it firsthand. You and I at the games, in the practices, we've seen this dude ball. And you hear about it from some of the defenders, Tyler Nubin, Jordan Howden, Coney Durr back in the day. Like, these guys are all saying this kid is special, and he was tearing us up on the scout team. Let him tear it up. Let him go do his thing. That is my biggest concern, is will the offensive coordinators let him go out there and ball? But let's flip it to the other way. What is the thing that gives you the most confidence in this matchup?
This goes back to the defense. It's got to be it, and the defense is something, or it's at least the secondary. I have no concerns in the secondary, which gives me a lot of hope going into this game. I feel like we're deep in the backfield, and I mean, I feel like nobody can throw the ball on us. That's in my brain. That's what I think. And so it'll be nice to finally earn some respect from other fan bases for how successful our defense can be.
Right. I'm going to knock on wood for you there just in case.
Yeah,
we don't want to jinx this. We don't want to mess this up, any juju or anything like that. But I'm with you. The most confidence I have in this matchup is that, North Carolina has found a lot of success in the run game this year as opposed to the passing game. But I'm confident that if they have to get into the passing game, like, we're not going to shut Drake Maye down. It's not going to be a blank game for him. He's going to find some success, but I have a feeling that this defense is a bend, don't break. They'll hold in there tough as long as the offense gives them time to breathe. As long as the offense keeps them off the field for a little bit and extends their drives, then I have full confidence in the defense, like you said. But the last question I want to get to before we dive into over-unders, before we talk about prediction stuff, is one spicy take from you on this matchup. What is one thing that might be a hot take that might not make sense, but you're like, I just feel it in my gut, in my brain, of the shower thought of the Gophers week this week?
It's going to be similar to the confidence factor. It's going to be like, I swear, I think our defense could be a top 10 defense. Where this year we're averaging 8 points a game. I know it's only been 2 games, but like you said, like, how many years in a row do we have to have a top 5 defense before we get like national respect? And I think this will be the game that we get the national respect. So it's not necessarily going to be a hot take as a Gopher fan for Gopher fans who watch every single game. But I think this is going to be the game where you're going to get ESPN talking heads going, hey, this Minnesota defense is kind of something special out here. They just held in North Carolina to how many points? Probably like 2-3. I don't know. But like, that's what I think would be considered the hot take, because not all of the country is seeing that. It's just us here at home. And so I think that will be what is taken away out of this game, is like, hey, this defense is for real.
I love it. I love it. And the sad part about that is, though, if this is the game that it blows up and everybody's like, whoa, this defense, and then they'll start pulling out the facts. Actually, the defense has been good for 2 years now. And if all that happens, if all that goes the way you're saying, look, I think that also means Coach Rossi is head coaching somewhere next year, as sad as that is for Gophers fans to admit. So you better enjoy the ride while we have it, folks, because
ain't that the most bittersweet part?
Yes. He's out here doing things. My spicy take for this week's matchup is Ethan Kaliakmanis passes for over 200 yards, but not a single pass catcher will be above 80 yards. I think he's going to spread it out. I think they're going to have they're going to have to attack from different ways. And I think that this is going to be a spread out offense this week. I think we see maybe 35 to 38 pass attempts and Ethan gets over 200. That's my spicy take for the week. All right. So before we jump into over-unders, we're going to have to talk to you about something from our friends. But before I do that, these over-unders, folks, it's going to be good. We're going to talk about Drake Maye as well and the yards that he could put up this week. We got an over-under on it. Don't miss that. It's coming up next. First, I got to talk to you about our friends over at LinkedIn Jobs. These days, every new hire can feel like a potential high-stakes wager for your small business, and you want to be 100% certain that you have the best access to qualified candidates available. That's why you got to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn helps you find the right people for your team faster and for free. And I always say on the show, you're probably sick of hearing me say it, but if it's free, it's me. So you should definitely check it on out. You go on over to LinkedIn Jobs or linkedin.com/LockedOnCollege. You start a free job post, and then you add a purple hiring hashtag on your personal profile picture so others can see you're looking for others to add to your team. They can recommend others. You can use simple tools like screening questions to make it easier to focus on the right candidates for you. And it's all free. So LinkedIn Jobs helps you find qualified candidates you want to talk to faster. Post about your job for free. LinkedIn.com/LockedOnCollege. That's LinkedIn.com/LockedOnCollege. Terms and conditions apply. All right, folks, we're jumping right into the over-unders. Thank you for listening to Locked On Golden Gophers, making us your first daily listen. I guess, I don't know, we're twisting the words, slipping up all over left and right, but we're just getting straight to the over-unders because folks, I am just excited for this matchup. Now, Minnesota is 7.5 dogs in this game. They're underdogs by 7.5 points. So it's in favor of North Carolina. Now we're going to call our shots, but actually I didn't even mention, I was going to do that in the first segment, but Tristyn, you won last week's predictions. You won it.
Sure.
You take the crown for week 2. I'll throw it on the bottom. It's over there. You got bragging rights for the week. Prediction winners in week 2 was Tristyn. Now, if we are looking at the predictions, I'm going to pull them up because I want to let you know how tight it was. Now, we had 15 possible points, and Tristyn had 8.5 points. I had 7.5 points. But listen to this. Leader in reception or receiving yards, you took Crooms. I took Jackson. Crooms won by 3 yards. 3 yards. So I got the first touchdown in Darius Taylor, and then I gave you offensive player of the game. I gave you a 0.5 point for Nathan Bowe because that offensive line held true with those running backs. I got a 0.5 point for Trayvon Jones with his sack and 5 total tackles. We both said Crab wouldn't play this week, but the thing that did it was the final score predictions. You were 1 point closer than mine. 1 point. It's down to the wire, folks. So you're going to want to tap in, play with us. Feel free to drop it in the comments below. But this week's over-unders, we're jumping right in. 7.5 favor of UNC. Do you think Minnesota will cover? Do you think they'll get within 7 points and or win the game? What are you thinking here?
Absolutely. I like last week, I think I said I think I took Eastern Michigan to cover, but I like Minnesota as an underdog. I like them even more than when we're a favorite. I hate when we're a favorite. Too much hype. Like, too much, like I don't like it. I love us as a dog, though. I think we come out swinging. So yes. I'm definitely think we're going to cover.
I'm with you. I think we're going to cover. I think it's going to be a tight one. Even if the Gophers don't pull this out, I think it's going to be a close game. So I think it'll finish within a touchdown or a touchdown at the very most. So I'm with you. I'm going over on that one. I guess it would be under on that one as well.
Yeah.
Now, points. The points line is 49.5 total points. So what are you going here, over or under? Now, North Carolina has scored 30 or more points in both of their last 2 matchups so far. The Gophers haven't crossed that 30-point line yet. What are we thinking?
Yeah, it's very tough because in my brain, I see it as a shootout. But sorry, I don't think our defense. I think if our defense is going to stay tough enough. I'm going to go under. I think it'll like you said, a close game. We cover, but I think it'll be under.
Well, we're both chalk here. I've got an under as well. I already know my prediction for the score. I've already kind of locked it in, so I got to stick with my gut here. I'm going under as well. A tight one, but if the Gophers defense holds true, I think we keep it under 49.5 total points. Now, total rush yards. Last week we had the line at 135.5. This week I'm moving it down to 125.5. Now, in week 1, North Carolina's defense gave up -2 rushing yards. So that's pretty impressive in itself. But last week, in week 2, they gave up over 180 rushing yards to running back. So it's kind of right there in the middle of those two numbers, 125.5 for all running backs, not just Darius Taylor, not just Sean Tyler. What are you thinking here, over or under?
Last week was a big week, so I think I'm going to go under again. I hate that we're getting so many unders here. I think we're going to go under again because I think we're going to go back to the air a little bit more. It's going to be a nice blend, right where we're supposed to be. That run's going to set us up for a nice passing game.
I'm really I'm kind of stuck on this line. I think if Darius Taylor can get to like 73, 80 rush yards and Sean Tyler contributes 40, you're still under that 125.5. So I'm going to take the under as well. I think it'll be really close, but I don't like that we're matching on everything. So maybe this is the one where we split. Passing yards for Drake Maye, 249.5 is the line. So do you think he will get over with 250 or more passing yards or under with 249 or less? The first 2 weeks, I believe he's been at 266 and 202 or something like that. It's kind of been right on both sides of that line, but last year he was over 300 passing yards in at least 8 games, I think. So it's quite the difference so far this year. What are you thinking, Drake Maye passing yards?
He is a phenomenal quarterback. He is very good at what he does. But I still have to go under again. This defense is going to be the best defense he's played, all year. And it's going to be, even if you look back to who he played last year, we could compete with them. So I'm going to go under with that as well.
All right, I'm going to take the slight over here. I think he's just going to get over 250. I don't think he cracks 300, but I think and I hope that the Gophers slow their run game down enough that he's going to have to force more passes. And maybe that leads to more turnovers as well. Mm-hmm. But I think overall, the run game has really made it so he doesn't have to pass as much. So I'm hoping that the Gophers can maybe start to take that away and keep him right around that 250. I'm going to go over. Just to hopefully we're not chalk all the way down. I feel like I'll regret this one. Maybe this is your week winning point right here. But we're moving it on over to sacks. Now I've got the line at 1.5 sacks. Now the Gophers had, I think, 3 sacks in the first game, 4 sacks in the second game. What are you thinking for sacks this week?
This one, I got to stay over with my guys. That's my unit right now. I love them. I like them. Maybe not 3 or 4. That's pretty aggressive, but I'm thinking they'll have at least 2, get a little bit of pressure in there. So I
don't know what to do with this line. I think I'm going to go under. I think they only get 1 sack this week. I think North Carolina's interior of their offensive line is really good. Their guards are really good. And I think that Drake Maye is more mobile than the Eastern Michigan quarterback from last week, but he can throw the ball unlike Jeff Sims. So I think he keeps himself out of danger as much as those last 2 quarterbacks. So I'll go under and hope that the Gophers get 1 sack. Well, actually, I hope they prove me wrong. I hope they get it way more than All right, the last over and under before we dive into some predictions is turnovers. Now, the Gophers have been forcing turnovers. I believe they had 4 in the first game, and they had 1 in the game last week. But this week, I have the line at 0.5. So basically, either an under is 0, no turnovers this week, or an over, as many turnovers as the Gophers can create. They have to at least get 1. What are you going here with that turnover line?
I wanted to say under. I really did. But as soon as I thought under to myself, all I could hear was the woohoo from the games. And I was like, no, they're going to get a turnover because it has to. It has to happen. So I think they're going to get at least 1. And I think it's definitely going to come from our secondary. That's where I'll put mine on is the ball's going to be thrown a lot more. But at the same time, Maye he's going to take care of the ball more than these past 2 quarterbacks, you would hope. But I think 1.
I'm going with you. I'm taking the over on this one. I think, like I said, I hope that the Gophers can kind of take away that run game and force him to pass more, force him to be in more 3rd and long situations. And hopefully that means he presses a little bit more, which can maybe lead to a turnover, maybe late, and help the Gophers take the win in the end. Now we're going to talk predictions, which is what everybody cares the most about. That's what's coming up next. We're going to talk about things like who's going to lead the team in receiving yards, who will lead it in rushing yards, our offensive player and defensive player of the game, and final score predictions. You're not going to want to miss that coming up next. First, I got to talk to you about our friends over at FanDuel. Now, FanDuel has a great deal going on with the NFL season and college football season in full swing. And right now, new customers can bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets. So if you just make a simple $5 bet, you're getting $200 in bonus bets guaranteed. Plus, all customers who bet that $5 will get $100 off of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Now's the best time to join FanDuel, the easy-to-use app. On top of that, they've got spreads, player props, and so much more that you can choose from. So visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and kick off the NFL season with an offer you won't want to miss. FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of Locked On. All right, folks, it's time. It's time for these predictions. It's time for the best part of the show. We're kicking it off with how many pass attempts do you have Ethan Kalikmanis having this week? Now, whoever's the closest is getting the point. So how many passing attempts will the Gophers have in week 3?
I have thought about this. 32.
32. All
32.
right. I'm going
not
higher.
Quite as many week 1. Oh, higher. Okay.
I'm going higher. Let's
Let's
lock it in. I'm going higher. I'm going to lock in 36. I've been telling myself 35 to 38 all week. I'm going to go split the difference. 36 passing attempts for the Gophers quarterback this week, and I hope that boy balls out. I'm a big fan, and I hope he gets to show on a national stage what he can do.
Okay. Okay.
Let's talk about the receiving yards. You beat me by three yards last week. I'm a little salty about it. I'm not going to lie. I'm pretty salty, but take your shot. I'm going to let you choose first on this one. I'll choose first on the next one. Who leads the Gophers team in receiving yards this week?
Yeah, here's the thing. I was racking my brain about it too, and I am going to go back to Corey Crooms, I think. Can I take him 2 weeks in a row?
Yes, all you. Zoom, Corey Crooms.
And that's I think I have to. I think they're going to, like you said, I think Ethan is going to spread it out. I hope he spreads it out to everybody. Everybody's going to eat, but I like him. That's going to be my pick.
Look, I'm a big Daniel Jackson fan. I'm a big Elijah Spencer fan. Both those guys, I've got an affinity for them. I think they're going to ball out this season. I'm not choosing either one of them. I'm going with Chris Ottman-Bell. I'm going with Crab. I don't even know if he's going to play, but I'm going to speak it into existence.
I hope he does.
Ottman-Bell leads the team in receiving yards.
This is where you want him back, right here.
Yeah, preach it. It would be just the perfect option for the Gophers to kind of open it up some more. He gives you a guy who can win 50-50 balls, win across the middle of the field, but then also that opens up the deep shots for a guy like Brockington or Jackson or Crooms. The Gophers need Chris back. They do, and I am excited for when that time happens. But we'll flip it to rush yards. I'll kick this one off. Who leads the team in rush yards? I'm going to go with this boy who is a true freshman, who was balling out in the last game. Called the shot early last week. Got some props on Twitter for asking people if they thought it was going to be the Darius Taylor breakout game, and it was that and then some. Who are you taking in that wake? You can take the same player. I'll put a caveat there. You can take the same player.
Okay, if he would have played, you never know. You never know. But I'm going Darius Taylor. That guy is a freak, an animal. That was electric last week.
It was indeed. Now we've got 2 picks again for who scores the first touchdown. So I'm going to let you go first on this one. Who scores the Gophers' first touchdown? Hopefully there are many in this game for them, but who you got?
First one, we just got done driving the field. Ethan just runs one in. A little short 2-yard boot, untouched. Looks easy, makes it look easy, and that's how we get the ball rolling.
All right. I am in a similar vein. It will involve Ethan, but it will be a passing touchdown. I'm going with your brother. I'm going with Tristyn Spann-Ford. I am hoping that everything is all good. I would ask you right here and put you on the spot, but I won't do that. We'll let the listeners hold their breath a little bit and whatnot. But I'm going to go with Tristyn Spann-Ford. I don't know if that gives any hints at what I'm feeling for this game, but I think that him and Ethan connect real well in this one, and they get it going, and they finally scheme some plays for this man.
I love it. I hope so. That man got to hold on to the ball though too. Hey, just saying. He took that shot last week, but all I could think of is maybe catch that ball. Maybe catch that first and then take the shot. No.
Let's put you in that exact situation right now. Let's do it.
Exactly. No, in reality, I called my mom right away because they clicked the commercial. I was like, hey, did he get up?
All right, you get your second choice for the first touchdown.
Second pick. DT, baby. Darius Taylor. It's ground and pound then.
Good one. It's what got me the point last week, but I'm
Yep.
going to keep going on this trajectory of passing the ball. I'm just really thinking the Gophers are going to pass this week.
They're gonna have
I'm
to,
gonna
so
go-
I'm not mad at it.
Right. I'm going to go with Daniel Jackson. I'm going to go with Daniel Jackson. I was tempted to say Crab again, but I can't double down just in case he doesn't play. So I'm going to go with Daniel Jackson, maybe
Yep.
cover my bases around here. All right, we've
We've been
got
there before.
offensive player of the game and defensive player of the game coming up next. I'm going to lead off offensive, and then you can lead off defensive. For offensive player of the game, I'm going with Ethan Kaliakmanis. I think he's going to ball out. We've been talking about, I think he'll have 36 or so passing attempts, spreads it around, gets a 200-yard game. I'm really confident in the Gophers passing the ball more this week. They're still going to run. Don't get me wrong. I still think there will be like 30 rushing yards, or not rushing yards, 30 rushing attempts. I think they'll attempt at least 30 rushes in this game, but I am confident I'm locking in Ethan.
We can or cannot pick the same person.
Oh,
Different
this
person?
one we can't. This one we can't.
Yeah, you're right. You took mine. Let me say I'm going Daniel Jackson then. Maybe a couple of big catches, that really help solidify the win. I'm going Daniel Jackson, player of the game.
All right. Well, then you get to lead off on defensive player of the game. You might get to snipe me back here. What are you feeling for the defensive player of the game in North Carolina?
I got to go with Tyler Nubin. I got to go with him. This is the game that is made for him. Primetime ACC, all eyes on us. Show him the leader of the defense. This is his time, and all he does is ball hawk. He's looking for it, though, at any chance he gets. So I'm going with him.
Well, you'll feel satisfied to know that you definitely took the guy I was hoping to take, but it's okay. I came prepared. I have a backup, and I am locking in and doubling down with this injury report stuff. Cody Lindenberg,
There it
welcome
is.
to Dinkytown. Welcome to Chapel Hill. Welcome back to the squad. He's going to ball out this week. I think his play speed, his instinct, his intuition right away is going to be a step up for this defense that has been missing its second best player on the field. And I think you're going to feel his impact from the jump. I do believe he is going to play. I'm willing to say, I would say like 98% certain. I think Cody Lindenberg is playing this week. So I'm locking him in as my defensive player of the game. What are you thinking about that one?
I love it. Love it. Oh, he's back. He's faster, stronger, smarter. That's what I'm saying. I love these guys, and the not rushing them back for these early games. I understand it. It sucks not to be able to watch them play, but I understand it, and I think they're going to come back. He's going to come back healthy, ready to go.
All right, we've got three left, and one of them is a new one. But first, we're going to talk about when will the first touchdown happen. Now, we were both off last week. It looked like we were both going to be right. That one prediction we talked about with it being like at the 8-minute mark and the first drive and all that, it was almost that, and then we couldn't get a 4th and 2. But we struggled in the red zone a bit. When are you calling the first touchdown for Minnesota to happen? Quarter and time.
I will go with first quarter, 5 minutes left. I think, yeah. First quarter, 5 minutes left. Takes us a while to drive the field, but I think North Carolina gets the ball first.
All right, I'm going to go second quarter, and I'm going to say 8 minutes left. I'm sticking to that 8-minute mark, but I think that maybe we each get one drive or so, maybe one drive, and North Carolina gets 2 drives, and then we come back in the early second quarter and get our first touchdown on the board. Hopefully that first drive we can put a field goal up on the board or just score and prove me wrong. I'm good with that too.
That would be great. Yep.
But I'm going to go second quarter, 8-minute mark. Now, the next new question is sleeper of the week before we give our final score predictions. Who do you have as your sleeper player of the week that could make maybe one huge play on the week that could be a difference maker, or someone that could be an MVP type player for the Gophers that we didn't see coming? Your sleeper of the week.
Give me Jones on the defense. The corner.
Trayvon
Jones. He had the pick so he's not necessarily a sleeper. He has a pick on the season already. I believe he has one, right? Or do you have one last week? One that first week in Nebraska. I like him. He's flying around the field. I like him. I'm going to go with him.
All right, I'm locking in Devin Eastern, defensive tackle for the Golden Gophers. Kyler Baugh had a day last week. He might have been the best player on the defensive side of ball last week. Had 2 sacks, could have had almost 4 sacks, had 3, but 1 got called back from a penalty. Look, he balled out. I think his partner in crime's turn. I think Devin Eastern is going to tear it up. Now, I'm pretty sure I am definitely contradicting myself because I said that we would have 1 sack or less. And Devin Eastern having a big time sleeper moment would probably mean we maybe have more than that, but maybe he's the one. I just have a feeling Devin Eastern's going to show up this week. He's going to play extremely confident, ball out, and he's my sleeper of the week. Now let's talk about it, Tristyn. We're wrapping it up right here. The final score predictions. What do you have for this Gophers versus North Carolina week 3 matchup?
I have 28-14. Does that keep us under?
28-14. Quick math would tell me that is 38 plus 4. Yes, it's under.
Boom. Good football math. I like 28-14. I think it's close the whole game, and we go up by 2 touchdowns late, and it's like a garbage touchdown, but we're already winning.
14.
I'm confident. I'm
14.
confident. Our defense is so good. We're so good.
You know who else is really good, though? Drake Maye is really good. I can't even talk. I'm giving him 1 more touchdown on top of that. I'm going 24-21. Minnesota wins. I think the defense is the reason it happens, but I will say this as a caveat. If the Gophers offense can't put together longer drives, North Carolina could blow us out in this game. And I don't feel good saying that. But if that happens, that's the same thing that led to our Illinois loss, our Purdue loss, and our Penn State loss last year, was the Gophers kept getting 5 plays or less on their offensive drives, and the defense was gassed. The offense has to put together drives, which comes back to my worry of the creativity of the play callers. You got to do it. You got to put together good drives this week, and I'm counting on you to make it happen. 24-21 Minnesota.
I don't hate it. I don't hate it. A win is a win, but I don't know. Maybe I'm overly confident. I agree with you. The offense is going to be a huge key. Like we have to find a balance between the offense we saw week 1 and the offense we saw week 2, because like we can't do just one or the other, because we still win ugly when we do that. So if we find a happy balance, I think we'll be good to go.
That's going to do it for us on today's show. Hopefully we're coming back. We're talking about the 3-0 Gophers. Hopefully they could lead their way up to a 5-0, maybe undefeated matchup versus Michigan, but it all starts this week versus North Carolina at Chapel Hill. Thank you again for joining us, Tristyn. Thank you for the listeners. And as always, row the boat, Sky Go Gophers, and don't forget to subscribe.